Hello everyone. Welcome to the last section of the course, Security Best Practices. In this section, we will explore various ways to secure resources in Amazon Web Services using different options available, using IAM security groups, and so on. We will learn to configure secure access to AWS resources using Identity and Access Management, IAM. We will also demonstrate the steps to configure security groups and network access control lists, ACLs. Now we move on to the first video of this section that deals with identity and access management. In this video, we will first look at shared responsibility model. Then we will create groups and users. Later we will assign each user to a specific group. Security can't be an afterthought. It is essential in the multi-tenant environment of cloud. This image clearly defines the responsibility of AWS as a service provider and of a customer as a consumer of AWS resources, and that helps to make the environment more secure. AWS is responsible for securing the cloud infrastructure, while the customer is responsible for configuring security in the cloud. The responsibility of AWS and a customer may change based on the cloud service model used by the customer. Platform as a Service (PaaS) model demands more responsibility from AWS compared with Infrastructure as a Service (IaaS), because the customer has very little control over the overall environment in PaaS. As you go down in service model, customers' responsibility increases, and as you go upward in service model from IaaS to SaaS, AWS responsibility increases. Let's begin with identity and access management. It provides the facility to configure authentication and policy-based authorization. You can use AWS IAM services with the use of AWS Management Console, AWS Command Line Tools, AWS SDKs, and IAM HTTPS API. With AWS IAM, it is easier to provide administration access and use resources with proper authentication and authorization. One of the main reasons why AWS Identity and Access Management is popular is because of its ability to integrate with AWS services. Another reason is the pricing of AWS IAM. It is free to use. Let's understand some of the actions that can be done to make AWS resources access more secure. So we will start with the first one. Don't use AWS account root user access keys. It is always better to avoid using an access key associated with an AWS account. Others are create groups based on the requirements, create multiple users, assign policies to groups, assign users to specific groups, configure strong password policy, provide additional layer of security, AWS multi-factor and authentication MFA for users. Now let's create groups first, and then we will create users and assign each user to a specific group. So first, we will go to Services. From Security, Identity, and Compliance tab, we will select IAM. Then from the IAM dashboard, select Groups and click on Create New Group button. Here, specify a group name as Packed QA and click on Next Step. In Step 2, we need to attach a policy to the group. So we will filter the relevant policies based on requirement and click on Next Step. After that, review group name and policies associated with it, and then click on Create Group button. Similarly, create another group for Pack developers. Now we have our two groups available in the IAM dashboard. It's time to create a user. and click on Users. Then we click on Add User button. Here we provide a username as Packed Videos. If you want to add multiple users at a time, then click on Add Another User. In case of AWS Management Console access, provide console password, and you can also provide rule to reset the password at the time of the first login. So we will select both the access type and set the custom password of your choice. Then click on Next, Permissions. There are 3 ways to set permissions for the new user. First way is add users to a group, so all policies or permissions assigned to the group will be applicable to the user. Copy permission from the existing user is the second way. Last option is attach existing policies directly. However, it is better to avoid attaching policies directly to the user. It is better to create a group and assign policies to it. In this case, we will assign the user to the group that we have created earlier in this video, and that is Developers. After that, we click on Next Review and verify user details available on the dashboard. Once reviewed and verified the details, click on Create User. Then click on Close once you get the success message. Now let's go to IAM dashboard and verify the security status. Users and groups are already in place, so the security status shows that 4 out of 5 is complete. Now it is time to activate MFA on your account. So click on Manage MFA and select a virtual MFA device from the dialog box. Then click on Next Step. This is the barcode that we need to scan with our virtual MFA device. Once your account is added, you will get the 6-digit code that we need to provide in AWS. The 6-digit code will change in the Google Authenticator. As you can see, we have already provided 2 codes in AWS Portal. Then click on Activate Virtual MFA. Once the MFA device is successfully associated with your account, click on Finish. After that, we refresh the IAM dashboard and observe the security status, which is now 5 out of 5 complete. Let's try and install virtual MFA device that is Google Authenticator. So in your Android smartphone, go to Play Store. Find Google Authenticator in the Play Store and click on Install. Once the application is successfully installed on your mobile, click on Open. Then click on Begin to get the Add an Account page. Then allow Authenticator to scan the available barcode. Enter 2 6-digit code in the field respectively. Once the MFA device is successfully associated with your account, click on Finish. Next, we will sign out from the AWS Management Portal and try to log in to the AWS account. Once you provide username and password, it will ask for additional authentication. So open your Google Authenticator app and provide the code here. Then click on Sign In button. Let's proceed with roles. Role is an important concept in AWS IAM. It can be assigned to anyone who needs access, and access keys are given dynamically. Another important feature is related to access using an AWS account. Let's assign role to an IAM user. For that, first select Roles in IAM dashboard and click on Create Role. Then select Type of Trusted Entity. Also choose the service. In our case, it is EC2, and click on Next, Permissions. Here we will attach permission policies, then click on Reviews. After that, We provide role name as Role 1 and role description as per your need. Lastly, click on Create Role. Your role is now ready to be assigned and used based on the requirements. You can also create policies. Let's see how to create it in the next video. In this video, firstly we created groups, then we created users, and after that assigned each user to a specific group.